Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, welcome to another video. So today I'm here to do kind of an update video for a video I did a very long time ago, well this year. Basically I've only had my channel for a year, so if you can tell by the title, I'm going to be doing a full face of makeup of my current favourite like high street kind of makeup. So this is going to be kind of my current favorites, I guess, because it's always changing, because when it comes to places like Superdrug and Boots, they're always opening they're always bringing out like new products from brands, obviously, so they're always like restocking new brands, if that makes any sense. So all these products I'm using are still available, because I know a lot of the times I like to use products that either are like a year or two old and not available anymore, but these ones I've bought within maybe like half a year and they're still available in all stores. So let's just get on with it. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about is my primer. So the primer that I've been loving, obsessing so much this year is the Elf Poreless Putty Primer. So Elf is a brand I have just kind of like appreciated a lot more this year, because back in the day, like, they never used to have so many products available in the UK, because they used to obviously just be available in America or wherever. And then as soon as it got to like Boots and Superdrug, that's when I started to kind of see what they had, and then the price points, to be honest. Like, this primer I think is maybe £8 or £9, and I use it all the time and I barely made a kind of dent in it at all. I'm not using it every day, but I am using it quite a lot, and I always use my brush, because I think I've mentioned this so many times, but I don't really like to use my hands on a lot of like face products, basically, because our hands are just quite dirty all the time, regardless of, obviously you're constantly washing it, but once you've washed it and you pick up an item, the germs are just going to start spreading again. And yeah, when it comes to this primer, it just feels softening, and again, it helps with the pores, because I have really big pores. So I think with something like this, it will kind of help, not kind of, you know, close them a bit, but it kind of gives them a bit of a, you know, a leeway to not be so out there, because I just need to be very careful with what I put on my skin as well. I do use quite a lot of different you know, different brands of makeup on my face and different styles, just because I never really know what works for me. Because sometimes, you know, if you have oily skin, you obviously don't want to use a product that's going to make it worse. But for me, sometimes, because I have such combined skin, I never really know what's going to work, and this seems to be working perfectly fine. So yeah, the Elf Putty Primer, fantastic. So then going on to foundation, and I'm going on to my L'Oreal Infallible 24 Hours Matte Cover. And I this year have bought so many different foundations, just because I'm always wanting to try different coverage, because my skin is very pigmented. Well, recently it hasn't been, because I've been taking antibiotics for my skin, so I have rosacea, so I've had that for a few years now. So I'm always looking for full coverage, because I hate my skin, basically. And when I found this, and it says 24-hour cover, I've not tried it on a 24-hour cover, because I'm just not into testing makeup for that long, and especially since we're in lockdown, there's no need for me to wear makeup any longer than me just filming this video, basically. And this foundation is absolutely gorgeous. It's a medium coverage, and I personally got this in Superdrug, and I know all these brands you can pick up, like I mentioned, just in the shop. You don't have to buy it online. I mean, that's why I didn't want to use any like Colourpop or Beauty Bay products, because I'd rather, you know, now that some of the kind of restrictions are lifting a bit in the UK, I feel like it should be okay for people to go into certain shops if you feel comfortable to do that. Obviously, if you're not comfortable, then obviously buying online, you can still do that, and you still can't swatch in the store, so it's quite difficult to find your shade. But a lot of both a lot of like Superdrug and Boot brands, they are starting to come out with a wider range of shades now, so they are trying to hopefully cater to a wide range, which they should anyway. Like, you can't have like 6 or 7 light shades and 2 dark shades, because who is that going to cater to? Like, a very small percent. But I think with L'Oreal, they have so many different kind of versions of foundations, and I think for me this one has probably one that I have enjoyed probably the most this year, because it is a matte cover as well, so you can see that it does look quite just nice and settled. It doesn't look too kind of shiny, and yeah, it's kind of got a good coverage. Like I said, I don't have a lot of red on my face at the moment because of my antibiotics, but when I did have quite a lot of red, this did help pick it up. And now I'm going to go on to concealer, and this is going to be no surprise, but it's the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define. And this I did discover this year, and of course it's still around because it's such a big seller. It's the shade C4, and again, this shade selection is fantastic, and you can get it obviously in Superdrug and obviously on the Revolution website as well. And I think it's only maybe £4 or £5. It's a small size, but you do not need a lot, because the coverage is great. Thankfully today I don't have a lot to cover up, which is a change. But when it comes to Revolution, in my previous kind of favorites of high drugstore makeup, I put a lot of Revolution products because I had just been used to buying so much Revolution because they're so cheap, and a lot of their stuff I really loved, but I thought I needed to branch out a little bit. That's why I've got, because you know, back in the day before I used to make any type of money, I would, if I was buying makeup, it would mostly be Revolution, and therefore I couldn't judge any other brand on it because I'd never tried it. So now that I am kind of more passionate about makeup these days, and I'm constantly wanting to try new things, that's why I'm able to incorporate different brands into these videos. But Revolution is still a brand that I love. They're always coming out with new stuff, like the Disney Princess palette, and obviously the Nightmare Before Christmas stuff as well have been great. Any of the other face stuff I haven't used because there hasn't been anything that I've been drawn to, because they're always, like I said, they're always coming out with new stuff. Them and they're like the UK version of Colourpop basically, because Colourpop have like things that come out every week, and so do Revolution. But I think for me, I'm slowing down on Revolution, but I can still kind of see in the background what they're doing, because if there's something I want, I'll just pick it up. So yeah, that is the concealer, always fantastic. Now setting powder, I would have gone excuse me, I would have gone for my Revolution setting powder, like the matte setting powder, but I thought let's try something different, and I'm going in with the collection Lasting Perfection Sheer Loose Powder in the shade Matte. So this is a translucent powder. I picked this up in Boots about 2 weeks ago, and yeah, it's nice. I'm not always into loose powders because it's very messy, but it would just settle into the skin really nicely for me, and I always need a lot of setting powder because, like I mentioned, I get quite oily throughout the day. Like I kind of said that I don't really wear a lot of makeup throughout the day, unless I'm filming, but when I kind of in the middle of filming, you get a bit warm and you kind of start to sweat a little bit. Sorry for the TMI, but it's just natural stuff that happens. And I think with this powder, it just settles everything in. It does get very messy because it will just go all over my top, but you just brush it off and it's fine. And again, Collection is such a cheap brand. Again, I used to say, oh, they're too cheap, I don't want to try it. But then I started to use a lot more of their products and I really do like them. I think this powder was like £3 and it will last me quite a while because I finally got rid of my Beauty Bakery one, which is basically like the same as this. I think that was like a banana powder, but I've had that for years. Literally, I think I had it for about 3 years. So now I've got rid of it. This is my other like loose setting powder that I'm going to use from now on, and it's just super nice. So we're going on to blush, and we're going a little bit more expensive, but not so much. This is one again that I've just recently discovered, and it's the NYX Sweet Cheeks Matte in the shade Citrine Rose. And again, I bought this the same time as I got this, and it is so beautiful. It's really gorgeous. NYX used to be a brand that I was like, too expensive. I can't afford it. I can't afford a £10 foundation. But now, again, like I said, I'm branching out a bit. I picked this up and I really like it. I just kind of got it on a whim just to kind of see what it was like. And I have mentioned that I really love the NYX, like one of their foundations, and it is, it's amazing. It's one that if I want to look a bit glowy, I think that foundation is fantastic. This blush is very pigmented. It's my own fault for adding so much because I like my cheeks to glow basically. So NYX are a brand that I'm not getting too many products of, but I still think they're good enough to pick up, and you can pick them up in Boots and Superdrug now. So a lot of the Superdrug stores, they have like a whole stand dedicated to NYX now, so you can pick up a lot, and they do have some kind of decently priced things that you can get a mini palette for about £6-7. One of their foundations that I want to try is about 15, but it's the Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation. I really want to try it, but every time I look on Beauty Bay, for example, and they don't have my shade, so next time if I'm in a store, I'll pick it up. But NYX are becoming a brand I'm, trying a lot of now. So let's go on to highlighter, and this is like a kind of Revolution baby brand, but this is the Makeup Obsession in the shade Mega Honey, and I think I got this the same time as this one as well, and it is extremely pigmented. It is absolutely gorgeous. I love my highlighters. And again, this sometimes, I think this might be a little bit dark for me, but I still love using it. Apologies, you can't see it a lot. It's getting a bit dark outside at the moment. But again, with Makeup Obsession, they're a great brand. They have a lot of great palettes that are like, you can get a big palette for £6, and it's great. Like the So Dope palette, which is one of my favorite palettes ever, the green one, that was only, not even, I think there's like either £6 or £10. And again, they're always coming out with new versions, new kind of styles and shades. And yeah, I really like them. This highlighter is gorgeous. Again, I've only discovered it like a few weeks ago, but it's one that I just love. And I really beam, which is gorgeous. So we're moving on to the eyes now. And with the kind of eye primer, just the obvious one is the it's the Makeup Revolution Prime and Lock. And this it's probably like the first kind of primer that I bought for my eyes, because I have been loving the e.l.f. one, but I like to change it up every so often. And I think because this one is I think it's a bit cheaper by like £2 or something, if that. But once I use the sponge to kind of settle in, it works really nicely. And the e.l.f. one, the e.l.f. one I do prefer, but I think it's getting a bit dry now, because every time I use it I feel like I have to like scrape it out of it, because I think I have used it a lot, but using the kind of like appropriate brush. But if you do want your eyeshadow to stand out, sometimes using a primer is always going to be a good way to kind of help that. Obviously a lot of brands these days are like super pigmented, or some just aren't, and the way to kind of make them a bit more pigmented is to add a primer on top, like underneath. You don't want to add it on top, underneath, just so it gives that extra oomph. You don't have to, but sometimes it's nice to. And I think, yeah, this is only like £3.50 or £4, and again Revolution, so you can pick it up in Superdrug, and it's quite a new product. I think it's been around for maybe half a year, but it's pretty good. So let's go on to eyeshadows, and this is going to be such an obvious choice because I've used it so many times on my channel, but it's the e.l.f. mini bite-size eyeshadow palette. So I've got two different ones I want to use, but then I don't know which one because I like both of them. I've got quite a few and if you haven't seen them before, these are essentially 4 mini eyeshadows for £3. Yeah, it's basically e.l.f., like I said, have become one of my favourite brands this year. I think I'll use this one today because it's quite, it's a nice kind of red tone to go with my lips. And this is really nice. I mean, these are all super nice. They're extremely pigmented. My favourite one is the green one, which is the hot jalapeno one. But like I said, the pigmentation in these are insane for £3. Like, come on, you can, if you're traveling somewhere, sometimes, I mean, if you're traveling and you want to just take a really small palette, just buy one of these and you can do quite a few eye looks with it. So they don't have any names. This is the Berry Bad version. So I'm taking this very light one in the corner on like a fluffy brush and I'm just going to put it all over my eye to kind of settle the primer in, and so it hasn't creased, so that's fine. Sometimes you have to be careful with the kind of primers because they might crease sometimes. I haven't had any problems with this Revolution one, so let's see how it works on these. But yeah, there's so many different like variations of these e.l.f. ones, and they also have really nice liquid eyeshadows which are about £5. They are extremely, they're like that big. They look big in the packaging, but when you take it out of the packaging it's super small, but they're very pigmented as well. So I'm just gonna bring this up a bit because this is like the kind of base of it all. I'm not going to use all 4 shades because sometimes if I do that I end up ruining the look, but there are 2 mattes and 2 shimmers, so I mean that's pretty good for £3. Honestly, I'm like, every time I get a chance to talk about these £3 ones, it's definitely worth it. Yeah, I think I've only got like 1 or 2 to get the whole collection. It's like a little Pokemon set. Gotta catch 'em all. Right, so that was the first shade. I mean, come on, like even without the primer I think it still would have looked absolutely gorgeous. The same brush, I'm going to go in with the darker one on the corner here, and this is going to go very lightly because I don't want to make it too pigmented. I'm going to put it in my crease so it kind of darkens up that a bit. And yep, sorry if you can't see, I have a habit of completely forgetting that I'm filming. Right, so I'm not going with a heavy hand because at the bottom I want to add a shimmer, so that will make it pop a bit. Yeah, you can see it's like just, yeah, darkening up the corners just a bit. So, and then now we're going to go in with a flat brush to go onto the shimmers. And what one should I do? I might use this one. Again, they don't have names, so I can't I can't say, oh, it's this one, it's this one. Right, first I'm going to try without a spray to see if it works better, but let's just give this a go. Yeah, you don't need you really don't need a spray, because sometimes you can use, well, a lot of times you can use setting spray, and that will just intensify the pigment by like 50%. Yeah, there's a bit of fallout, but it's nothing too crazy, so you can see how gorgeous the shade is. Okay, tapping off the excess so it doesn't go completely everywhere. Oh, that's gorgeous. Yeah, perfect. So I'm gonna kind of leave at that. Let me get one of my, just a fluffy brush, and I'm just gonna tidy up some of the edges because it's kind of a bit messy at the top, but yeah, that's gorgeous. And now we're going to go in with an eyeliner. So there are tons and tons of eyeliners out there these days because people like to use eyeliner, and I thought today I would use one because it's quite a natural look. So I'm going to be using the Collection Extreme 24-hour felt tip liner. This is £2, £2.50 from Collection. Collection have always made really great eyeliners in my opinion. There is one of their eyeliners that is absolutely freaking great, and I never see anyone use it. And it's basically like an adjustable pen, whereas this one, it's just, oh, I'm trying to poke myself in the eye. It's just a solid pen, and it just works amazingly. My hands are shaking because I picked up a really heavy box today. So I bought a step machine from Argos and it broke. It's not me, not because I'm so fat, but because the bolts on there just like fell off, and it weighed a complete ton. I only bought it a week ago and I had to return it to an Argos that's a little bit further from where I live. So I had to literally pick it up and take it with me about a mile down the road. Well, less than a mile, but a far, like, you know, route down the road. And my arms are just like jelly today. Hopefully by tomorrow they'll be fine. But I managed to get a refund so I can buy another one next week because yeah. Anyway, let's go on to the mascara. And this is one that I have discovered quite recently because I got it in like a free box thing that Boots were doing, and it is the Maybelline Great Lash mascara, and this has been around for a very long time. I remember seeing this a few years ago but I quite like it. The brush itself is pretty cool because it's so like the bristles are quite big and far apart, so if you want your lashes to kind of separate a lot, this is going to be great. I think this is maybe $10.99 in general, which is good for like a really nice mascara. I'm not really into mascaras a lot, but I still like to kind of add something to my eyelashes when I'm going nice. when I'm trying to do nice makeup. It's just transferred a little bit, but I'll clean it up later. What was I gonna do? No, I'm not gonna add anything to my lower lash line. And then for lips, I'm gonna be using a lipstick I really like, but this is a new shade that I got. So this is the Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink, and this is in the shade Pioneer. And I got this maybe a week or so ago, but it's freaking gorgeous, and these are only £10, $9.99. If Superdrug ever do like, or even Boots, they do like they do like 3 for 2, or they do like buy one get one half price. These are really worth it. They stay on all day, they're super pigmented, they're not very sticky. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put it on off camera and I'll be right back. Hello, I'm back. So my arm was like proper shaking because it feels horrible, but yeah, you can see how pigmented like the lips are, and they stay literally all day, and it's fantastic. So yeah, this is my finished look of a full face of my favorite, well, my current favorite high street makeup. Let me know what you guys think. Yes, very nice. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I film and upload every time I get a chance to, and it's almost 1 year since I started my channel. Yay! Thank you so much if you have subscribed. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I'd like to get to 100 by the end of December. Everything I'm kind of wearing I put in the description. Have an affiliate code in the description if you want to have a look. I won't be talking about every video, it's just a couple of videos I want to just mention it. But yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.